What's up, guys? This is Travis, aka Travesty17. You probably seen or heard of me around the Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube universe. This is my first attempt at an MMA prediction video, so please be kind. Constructive criticism is welcome. I'm very shy in front of the camera, so I apologize in advance. First off, let me give a big shout out to the guys that inspired me to start doing videos. Big shout out to Rob, aka Kaz3000, out of the UK. Really cool dude. I've talked to him on Skype and Twitter. Yeah, really cool guy to talk to. Also, big shout out to Byron Giant, another good guy I talked to on Skype. Very fun personality. I like, really cool guy to talk to. Carson, aka the MMA analyst, been watching his videos for years. Excuse me, years. And a big shout out to Mio Dread, another guy I've been watching for a few years now. And another big shout out to my boy Bloodstained Lane. I am a supporter of his. I'm originally from New York City, so I get him. He gets a lot of haters. And it's just, I think they just don't understand him. He's a really good guy, beneath what he shows in his videos. But let's get down to it. I'm gonna do the UFC on Fuel TV Sweden predictions. I know it's early, but I just wanted to get this first video out, just to get it out. There'll probably be 10 injury replacements by when the event actually happens. So let me just get through this as quickly and painfully as possible. Just for the record, I love this card, especially for a free card on free TV. Especially the main card. The main card's awesome. I like all 6 fights are good. But let me get through the undercard as quickly as possible. Jason Shotgun Young versus Eric Wisely. I'm taking Jason Young by unanimous decision. Eric Wisely, just not UFC caliber fighter. Neither is Jason Young really, but I just think Jason Young is a bad matchup for Eric Wisely. Eric Wisely he's a submission guy. That's about it. I see Jason Young sprawling and brawling and getting an unanimous decision. I'd say 30-27, maybe 29-28. Simeon Thorson versus Bisam Youssef. I don't know much about these guys. I've seen Thorson fight a few times on a few Bama cards, I believe, but I've never seen Bisam Youssef fight. He seems like just a random Swedish fighter they wanted to put on this card. But if I had to pick a fighter, I'm gonna go with Simeon Thorson. He has the experience, and he seems more well-rounded. I'm going to say a first-round submission TKO, but Simeon Thorson for the win. Reza Madadi versus Yoslandi Esquerdo. This is a tough one. Both these guys are pretty good prospects. I'm going to go with Reza Madadi. My baby's crying. Perfect timing. I'm going to go with Reza Madadi by unanimous decision, but I would not be surprised if Esquerdo takes this. Reason I'm taking Madadi, more experience, fought better guys, and and it's his hometown advantage, so he might get that gift decision, but going with Reza Madadi decision either way. Francis Carmont versus Magnus Seidenblade. I've seen one Magnus Seidenblade fight, and I'm not impressed. He seems very one-dimensional. Once again, your typical Swedish fighter that they just wanted to put on this card. Francis Carmont is a pretty good fighter, and I think he's going to handle Seidenblade pretty well. I'm going to say a second-round TKO. Cyril Diabate versus Jorgen Kruth. Alright, I'm going with the upset here. I'm going to say Jorgen Kruth by a first-round knockout. Cyril Diabate is one of the most overrated fighters I've ever seen. His striking is overrated. He's very hittable. I mean, you can hit this guy pretty much every time you throw a punch. And his ground game is probably one of the worst I've ever seen. And Jorgen Kruth is a very good kickboxer, and his ground game is pretty decent. So I'm gonna say Jorgen Kruth first round knockout. And then the last fight, Papi Abedi versus James Head. Papi Abedi should win this pretty easily. James Head, just your typical, just a journeyman type fighter. Yeah, Papi Abedi, probably a first round TKO. But I'll just leave it at that. Alright, let's get down to the main card. First off, Brad Pickett versus Damacio Page. If you don't like this fight, you're an idiot. This one's going to be a banger for as long as it lasts. Brad Pickett, not your typical UK fighter, has good wrestling, good jiu-jitsu, good to go along with his good striking. Damacio Page, he's more of a brawler. I wouldn't say he's a good striker. He's a brawler. He has power. Good offensive jiu-jitsu, but his defensive jiu-jitsu has something less to be desired. And that's why I'm going to pick Brad Pickett here. I think Brad Pickett's going to hurt him on the feet, and he's going to maybe catch him in a guillotine. Damacio Page seems to get caught in those a lot. I'm going to say maybe a late first, early second round submission for Brad Pickett. DeMarcus Johnson versus John McGuire. This fight makes sense. Decent fight. Not too high on DeMarcus Johnson. He seems to quit when he's under pressure. If you can put DeMarcus Johnson under pressure, he will lose. John McGuire is pretty good at that. John McGuire he stays on you like glue. I mean, I was very impressed with his fight with Justin Edwards. Seems to have a good chin. He can take a punch, so I'm not worried about that. And I think John McGuire is going to take this pretty handily. I'm going to say well, I wouldn't say pretty handily. I think DeMarcus Johnson will have his moment, but once John McGuire puts the pressure on him very, very badly, he's going to break. I'm going to say John McGuire, second round submission, maybe a rear naked choke. What's the fight after that? Diego Nunes versus Dennis Seaver. I don't know why Dennis Seaver is moving down to featherweight. Dennis Seaver was doing very well at lightweight. I mean, he lost to Donald Cerrone. Not to be ashamed about that. And then before that, he had a nice little winning streak. He lost a very close, competitive decision to Ross Pearson. Another fight not to be ashamed about. I don't think the weight cut's going to go well for him. He's short, but he's very stocky. He's very muscular. So, and Diego Nunes is a good fighter, and I think he's going to take this. I think Diego Nunes is going to win unanimous decision, or maybe a unanimous split decision, Diego Nunes. Unless Seaver can catch Nunes early, I think Nunes is going to stay on the outside, maybe go for some takedowns. And yeah, Diego Nunes decision. Once again, guys, sorry this is my first video. I will get better. Then we got, alright, Paulo Thiago versus Sair Bahazirzada. I love this fight. But I would love it more if Bahazirzada had a training camp. If none of you have heard, he has apparently left Golden Glory and he's training on his own with his own guys. So if Bahazirzada was still with Golden Glory, I would pick him to win, but I don't think he's getting the proper training for this fight. So I'm going to go with Paulo Thiago. And Paulo Thiago, better wrestler, better ground game, I think. I think Paulo Thiago is going to win. I'm going to say maybe a close unanimous decision, or maybe a late submission. He catches him in that Bravo choke he likes to use sometimes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Sair wins. But it seems like doesn't have a camp right now. So I'm not comfortable picking him. So Paulo Thiago, unanimous, a close unanimous decision. Then we got the co-main event. This one's pretty simple. Brian Stann versus Alessio Sakara. Alessio Sakara, his only chance is to get Stann down, maybe submit him. I don't see that happening. Alessio Sakara, his jiu-jitsu's never been his strength. It's his striking. Sakara may be the better technical striker, but Brian Stann has the power. As Alessio Sakara's chin has never been great. So yeah, Brian Stann first round knockout within 2-3 minutes. Signed, sealed, delivered. And then let's get to the main event. Alexander Gustafsson versus Thiago Silva. This is an awesome fight. It would be better, even better, if Thiago Silva was more active. He's coming off a long layoff due to being caught with I think it was steroids. Yeah, steroids or something illegal. Again, I guess. Or was he? Has he been? No, this was his first time. Before it was an injury. That's right. As for the fight itself, I just see Gustafsson staying on the outside, you know, picking his shots. Thiago Silva's probably going to try to brawl with him, maybe go for a few takedowns, may be successful in some, but I see Gustafsson getting up. And yeah, I see Alexander Gustafsson eventually catching Thiago Silva with a hot one, dropping him, following him down with some ground and pound. You know, Thiago Silva's chin, if he gets hit hard, sometimes he panics, as we saw in the Lyoto Machida fight. So I'm going to say a late second, early third round TKO for Alexander Gustafsson. Those are my predictions. Like I said, constructive criticism is welcome. And I'll see you until the next card. Later.